Hello and welcome back everyone, we Weeb Online, and today I'm gonna continue the story What If Naruto Conquered the Elemental Nation Part 3. If you enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and to watch more videos like this, subscribe to my channel and turn that bell notification on so you never miss an upload. Now wasting no more time, let's begin.
Naruto was amused to see Orochimaru's former bodyguards shrink back in fear as he entered the interrogation room. Because Godmother made it clear how she felt about her grandfather's village getting 10 pounds of flesh from the boy when they should have been kissing his ass. Every single leaf shinobi knew his position in their ranks was much higher than theirs. Tsunade was still cleaning house one block at a time, and Naruto was loving every minute of it. He had already moved into the Namikaze estates, with Anko and Shizune close by, after informing them of the news. Anko had jumped him the moment he stepped into her apartment to tell her the news, and they almost had sex with Shizune watching, until the crazy special Jounin noticed the woman while wrapping her legs around his waist. The former Jinchuriki grinned and explained what happened with him making a bet with Tsunade after Naruto asked what Shizune was doing in her apartment. Anko was initially stunned by Naruto's acquisition of not only the Shodame's necklace, but also Tsunade's assistant. Naruto expected her to be upset by this addition, but to his surprise, Anko squealed with delight at having a harem sister, and had a perverted look on her face that made Shizune nervous. Shizune is a pity. Naruto's eyes were glowing red behind his war helmet of a mask right now, as he watched the four shinobi in front of him contemplating what to do or say in his presence. They were terrified, and some were even angry with him, based on the look in their eyes. Naruto finds it amusing to say the least. A part of them wished to break free from their chakra-suppressing chains in order to fight and avenge their deceased master. He could tell that several of the group members just wanted to get away from not only themselves, but Konoha as a whole, and find some measure of protection from the village, which would no doubt seek to behead them for their association with Orochimaru alone. How amusing it is to see such defiant, yet terrified, expressions on each of your faces, Naruto chuckled. What do you want? Why are we here as a group? Kimimaro asked, seeing the person responsible for Orochimaru's death look as if he had just gained their souls. Because I don't want to talk to each of you individually, I want to talk to you as a group, Naruto explained as he crossed his arms in front of himself. About what exactly? Jirobo inquired. About the four of you joining me, said Naruto, as the group looked at him as if he was insane. Are you fucking crazy? Exclaimed Tayuya, while Naruto laughed amusedly at her outburst. Perhaps, still, it is an offer to consider. I would think you would all jump at the chance. It is either join me or be imprisoned, if not executed. I find either such punishment to be a waste of talent and potential you each possess. Orochimaru saw potential, which is why he chose each of you to be his bodyguards, and that is not something to be taken lightly, Naruto explained. And how do you know that? Sakin inquired, as Naruto smirked at him. Because I have all his memories. I have all his knowledge in everything he's done. Because I have all his memories. I have all his knowledge in everything he's done. The benefit I gained from ripping out his soul before putting it into my body. While I can't use a good portion of that knowledge because it was meant for the Sannin alone, I can still use the memories the man has of the promising recruits in each of the many bases I know he. So we're trading off from one master to another. Yukin asked, peering out from behind his brother's back. Would you prefer imprisonment or death? A waste of your potential and talent, said Naruto, his power radiating out from him. What the fuck are you talking about? Conquest? What do you mean by that? Are you actually saying you're going to launch some kind of campaign to take over the world? Tayuya asked, with Naruto glaring at her for making his ambition sound like a fool's errand. That's exactly what I'm suggesting. Do you have a problem with that? Naruto asked, his voice cold, as if the red-haired girl's answer to his question might be the last she ever gives. No, Tayuya squeaked as Naruto narrowed his eyes at her. Good, because what I'm offering you is the opportunity to work for me, not the leaf, Naruto said, as the group remained hesitant. But don't you report to Konoha? Jirobo puzzledly asked. Hardly. I may wear the leaf's headband, but I'm not loyal to the governing body running things, and they don't exactly hold me in high regard either for what I once held. Naruto explained as the group in front of him looked at each other. But how can you be so sure they won't try to stop you? Yukin asked, smirking at Naruto. Because they lack the strength to stop me, Naruto stated simply. What do you think? Should we join him? Or do we rot in prison with a high chance of being executed? Kimimaro asked, as each member of the Sound Four formed their own little huddle. He did kill Orochimaru, Jirobo said, knowing that few could do so. Konoha despises us. They'll lock us up just for the invasion and kill us for being Orochimaru's bodyguards, Sakin said, with Yukin nodding in agreement. You're not suggesting we trust this asshole? Teuya asked quietly as the others looked on. We don't have much of a choice, Teuya. I say we give him a chance. The power he wields makes Orochimaru look like a joke. He ripped through every shinobi in his path during the Chunin exams like they were nothing. Kimimaro said, with the others nodding in agreement. All in favor? Sakin asked, so they could vote. Aye, exclaimed the Sound 4. All oppose? Yukin asked, to which everyone responded, are you serious? We all said yes, you stupid fucktard, yelled Teuya as he strangled Yukin to death. Enough, exclaimed Naruto before stomping his foot on the ground in front of the 4. I'm sorry, Yukin and Teuya both said at the same time. Good, I've made arrangements with someone I can trust to make sure you get out of here while serving me. Screw this up and you'll be wishing she kicked your ass instead of me, Naruto said before releasing them from the restraints. Wait, you said she? Who exactly? Jirobo wondered, wondering who in Konoha could have the authority to allow this to happen. My godmother and the new Gondame Hokage of Konoha. You may know her as Orochimaru's former teammate and fellow Sannin. Senju Tsunade, Naruto said as he walked out, the group behind him stunned. Does he have the Hokage in his pocket? Oh my god, Teuya thought as he saw Naruto lead them out of the Hokage Tower's interrogation section. Meanwhile, Naruto was smirking, though none of his new subordinates could see it for obvious reasons, and the councils were enraged that Tsunade had returned to be Hokage. They had only been in the office for 5 minutes when they dispatched one of their little messengers to inform Tsunade of their request for a meeting. Naruto was in her office at the time and gave his godmother a look that said, I told you so, before following her to the meeting. And, of course, he was subjected to their glares and derogatory remarks about him even being in the room, let alone alive. What is the point of this? I've only been Hokage for a few minutes and already you bakas are trying to boss me around, exclaimed Tsunade as she entered the room, looking irritated at the group in front of her before taking the Hokage's seat. We felt it was necessary for you to have this meeting with us to discuss the thing that has joined you for this meeting, Koharu said, glaring at Naruto with daggers. He has a name, Koharu-san, and it's Naruto. If you don't call him that, I'll rip out your bones one by one in a public execution. And that goes for the rest of you, exclaimed Tsunade, glaring at the older woman, who flinched at the threat. Yes, Hokage-sama, said the other members of the councils, albeit with some reluctance. Good. Now why am I here for this meeting? What is there to discuss that couldn't wait until I had time to settle into my position as Hokage? Tsunade asked, with the councils glancing at Naruto, and she realized what they were talking about. We wish there to be restrictions placed on the demo Uzumaki Naruto. He has to be punished for his assault on various Konoha shinobi, and the Sandaime Hokage himself. Given how Hiruzen was your sensei, I thought you would wish to give the order and make it official with us as witnesses, said Hamura, as Tsunade narrowed her eyes at him before glancing at the other members of the councils, all eagerly awaiting their the order restricting Uzumaki Naruto's movements and punishing him for the charges stated are hereby denied, said Tsunade, which surprised many on the councils and was voiced by them as well. Tsunade, be reasonable. Look at what that monstrosity has done. He must be punished, exclaimed Koharu, ignoring Naruto's random pleas for Tsunade's reconsideration. He is a threat to Konoha. He nearly killed the Sandaime, and Hiruzen would have died if Jiraiya-sama hadn't intervened at the last moment and stopped the final blow to Hiruzen. Hamura raged, pointing at Naruto. You claim, Hamura-san, but I happen to know the other side of this little story you're telling, and the secret you're not telling me, exclaimed Tsunade, the Shinobi Council squirming slightly because they were indeed keeping a secret from her. And what's the secret? Asked someone on the Civilian Council. That Naruto is my godson. That I was duped by the Sandaime into believing he died. That I was supposed to stay in Konoha and raise him like he was my own son. Of the abuse he suffered with the Sandaime keeping Jiraiya in the dark to prevent one of his godparents from doing something about it, exclaimed Tsunade, as those who knew squirmed in their seats under her piercing gaze. It was deemed necessary for the good of Konoha, Danzo finally said, Tsunade's gaze returning to him. It was treason. His parents specifically requested this in the event of their deaths, or do the wishes of late Yondaime Hokage mean nothing to any of you? Said Tsunade, each of the clan heads looking down in shame for being well, spineless when it came to defending the boy as he grew up. We refuse to accept this. Abomination is that great man's father. I don't care what you say about it. As long as I'm breathing in and out right here in front of you from today on, I will never acknowledge the brat as his father's son. Never, said a civilian councilman, slamming his fist on the table, with many of his fellow council members agreeing, until Naruto grabbed one of his hands around his face and yanked the poor bastard out of his chair. Then I think it's time you stopped breathing in and out, Naruto said before snapping the man's neck and tossing the corpse away with ease. "ANB, you arrest him for the murder of Councilman Takeda," exclaimed Himura, while Danzo suppressed a smirk, knowing that once the boy was restrained, he'd start working on the conditioning required to turn the village's weapon into his loyal pawn. "Stand down. No one is arresting Naruto. Not while I am Hokage," Tsunade said, seeing her Anbu obeying her albeit reluctantly. "Tsunade," cried Himura in protest, but her glare silenced him, and he knew any further complaints would be ignored. "No, all of you shut up and listen to me. I am the Gondame Hokage. My word is law. I say any attempt to abuse, hurt, or kill Naruto will no longer be tolerated. I call it the if you try, you will die law," Tsunade said, with Naruto grinning even more and every member of the councils protesting until the Hokage slammed her fist onto the table to make it clear she was. "Hokage-sama, is it possible to request medical assistance for my daughter? She has yet to fully recover from her injuries sustained approximately a month ago during the Chunin exam preliminaries," Hayashi explained as Tsunade nodded. "I'll do that later today. Who else needs to be healed?" Tsunade inquired, as she needed to heal a large number of people following Orochimaru's failed invasion attempt. "The last Uchiha. He ruthlessly maimed him during the Chunin exams," exclaimed Koharu, accusingly pointing at Naruto. "He was late for his own match and was disqualified. And the Uchiha dared to challenge me and interrupt my fight with Sabaku no Gaara," Naruto explained, as the councils all stared at him. "You still had no right to hurt him," angrily exclaimed a civilian council member, "as he tried and failed to do with me," inquired Naruto, while the civilian councilman remained silent. "I don't have time to deal with this arrogant nonsense. This meeting has concluded. Get out of here." Tsunade spoke up, with the councils looking annoyed that she had abruptly ended their meeting. "I told you so," Naruto said, glaring at Tsunade. "So, what are your plans for the future?" Tsunade was questioned, and Naruto was smiling at her. "I need recruits for my global plans. I require my own army, and I know where to look first before leaving the new Hokage to her own devices," Naruto said. "So, boss, where do you go from here?" Sakin explained that now that they were free, they were given new headbands with the leaf symbol on them to keep the village off their backs. "Of course, to Rice Country. Kabuto escaped during the failed invasion and will attempt to take over in Orochimaru's absence. That will not be tolerated by me," Naruto said as he and his friends set out for their destination. Arude NBU on a nearby rooftop was watching them leave before leaving to inform Danzo. "So the brat left with the sound for Rice Country," Danzo reflected, rubbing his chin. "Danzo-sama, you are correct. He appears to be on his way there not only to recruit an army, but also to kill Kabuto, and seize complete control of the village," said the root shinobi tasked with keeping an eye on Naruto. "Not good. Orochimaru's former bodyguards know I was involved with the Snake Sannin for years after he abandoned Konoha. If they tell the brat about my actions or recruit any potential shinobi to his cause, it will only make it that much more difficult for me to control him. How do I turn this to my advantage?" Danzo pondered as he tried to figure out the best way to control the boy. "Himura-san and Koharu-san would also like to speak with you," said the root shinobi, narrowing Danzo's eyes even more. "Send them both in," Danzo said, bowing and soon allowing the two shinobi council members into the room before leaving. "The Kyuubi brat is getting out of hand. We require a strategy." Himura knew that if anyone could come up with one, it would be Danzo, securing the brat's position as the village's prized weapon. "Agreed. Unfortunately, my Sharingan eye has no effect on him as I had hoped, proving that he cannot be controlled directly." Danzo spoke with bitterness in his voice. "He is of Uzumaki ancestry. Because they are all linked through the Sage of Six Paths, the Sharingan eye will not work against one of their own or the Senju." Danzo scowled even more, said Koharu. "No, it isn't just that. I can't even keep his power under control with it. I should be able to keep it from rising since he apparently fused with Kyuubi, but my Sharingan eye has had no effect on it. And such new information is bothering me." Danzo said this while the two shinobi council members looked stunned. The boy's chakra source must have mixed with Kyuubi's during the fusing process he went through during his month away from Konoha. It had to have acted as a barrier or resistance to Kyuubi's power against the Sharingan eye. Danzo and Himura looked upset as Koharu said this. "Politics will have to be our weapon. On our end, we must bring Tsunade under control. If that fails, Danzo, we need you to work on constructing a case against Naruto that we can present to the Fire Daimyo to force Tsunade to bow to our demands." Danzo nodded, knowing Himura's root shinobi could do that. "I've already started putting together a case to send directly to the Fire Daimyo." He'll have no choice but to make that bitch do what we want once he sees the evidence we've gathered against the brat and Tsunade's lack of action against him for her own personal reasons. Danzo left after seeing the two nod, preparing to control Tsunade so they could control Naruto. This is the main base Orochimaru keeps his most prized experiments and potential hosts he needed every 3 years. Jirobo explained, and Naruto nodded, having long ago gone through the late Sanin's own memories. The Sanin had a lot of dirt on key people in Konoha that they would use against them if they tried anything. Yes, I am aware. Several shinobi in particular fascinate me, Naruto said as he entered the village below, and into a secret underground chamber in one of the buildings. They walked down the corridors, ignoring the weak or dead bodies in the cells they passed until they arrived at the lab area, where they saw Kabuto looking over some monitors, taking notes, and completely immersed in his work. On a table not far from the medic nin was an albino, who was being monitored, and looked like he had been crying earlier. This one was called Kimimaro, and was the last of the Kaguya clan formerly. The man also had lung cancer, so his prestigious opportunity to be Orochimaru's new body had been snatched away from him. As he turned to face Naruto and Orochimaru's former bodyguards, a stunned Kabuto said, "Hello there, Kabuto. How are you doing?" Naruto smiled at the mad scientist Wantobe in front of him. "Uzumaki, you have a lot of guts to come here, given your numerical disadvantage." With a smirk on his face, Kabuto said, "Hardly. In his current state, Kimimaro poses little threat to me." Kabuto frowned at Naruto's knowledge of Kimimaro's name. "I was talking about the 4 behind you helping me," Kabuto explained, a smirk returning to his face. "And they'd choose you over me because..." Naruto observed the medic nin chuckle at him. "Come on now, you don't really expect them to follow your orders. A brat with a big mouth who pretends to be a ninja and wishes to be Hokage. Pathetic." Naruto just looked at him for a moment before laughing, said Kabuto. "Do I still look like that, you moron? Since being forced to portray myself in that manner, I've come a long way. Not to mention Orochimaru's death at my hands, which calls the concept of weakness into question, doesn't it?" While Kimimaro was attempting to get up from the table, Naruto noticed Kabuto narrow his eyes at him. You assassinated Orochimaru-sama. That's why my curse seal has vanished. I'm going to kill you," Kimimaro exclaimed as he struggled to get up from the table. "That would be a huge blunder on your part, given that I absorbed Orochimaru's soul as well as all of his secrets." Naruto noticed Kimimaro and Kabuto staring at him with a mixture of shock and fear. "You kidnapped his soul." When Naruto nodded, Kimimaro spoke up. "I ripped it out and into my body. His knowledge, secrets, and memories are all mine." Naruto said this while allowing his power to radiate around him in a swirl of red and letting out a cruel chuckle that even the Snake Sanin couldn't perform on a good day. "So, it makes no difference. You could absorb the souls of every Kage in elemental country history, and still be nothing compared to me." Naruto shook his head as Kabuto spoke. "You're so full of yourself, Kabuto, it's pathetic," Naruto said before summoning his wrath hammer. "When I cut you open and dissect your body, we'll see who is pathetic," said Kabuto, his hands coated in chakra and ready to use chakra scalpel to sever his enemy. "Fight!" yelled Naruto as he used Shadow Charge on Kabuto, sending the stunned medic nin flying back into his work he had been studying moments before. "That will cost you," Kabuto cried out as he was covered in chemicals and other substances, his notes ruined in the process. "Unlikely. I wouldn't expect a second-rate nutcase to comprehend what I've evolved into since you last saw me during the Chunin exam preliminaries." Kabuto snarled at Naruto, taunting him. "Second best, and the best medic nin in all of elemental lands," exclaimed a now enraged Kabuto, shaking his head in disagreement. "My godmother would disagree," Naruto shot back, while Kabuto scoffed. "That dried up old thing. She's squandered over a decade getting drunk, gambling her money away, and wallowing in self-pity over those she's lost because of her fear of blood. How can she be a medic nin of such reputed caliber if she is terrified of blood? Senju Tsunade, in my opinion, is nothing more than a forgery." "A liar," snapped Kabuto, the enemy in front of him no longer amused and instead deadly serious. Without warning, Naruto struck Kabuto in the face with this wrath hammer, the force behind the blow sending Kabuto flying through the wall. His ability to heal was already in the process of healing the crushed part of his face, and had to admit to himself that it hurt. A lot. The next thing Kabuto knew, Naruto was upon him, landing blows left and right as each hit broke bones, and, "Because of your insult to my godmother, I will ensure that your death is slow and painful," with screams echoing throughout the entire village. Naruto said this before thrusting the blade into Kabuto's chest, and the man did indeed scream loudly. The poison from the sword was working on him internally, and the power from Naruto was being channeled into the sword to burn Kabuto's flesh if not the internal organs from the inside out. All Kabuto could do was scream in pain, as his body was fighting a losing battle and healing itself while Naruto's killing blow was destroying him. "Remind me not to piss Naruto off anytime soon," Kimimaro said to the others as he, like the rest of his group, watched Kabuto decompose into an unrecognizable corpse on the ground and Naruto remove Kusanagi from the remains. Fatality. Before sending the sword away, Naruto turned to face the stunned Kaguya, who saw the power before him. "Such strength. It is superior to Orochimaru's," Kimimaro exclaimed in disbelief as Naruto's power returned to him. "As is your illness in being treated by normal medical means," Naruto said as he approached the frail Kaguya and saw him look down in shame. "My illness kept me from becoming Orochimaru's new host. It has been a curse on my clan since its discovery, and it primarily affects the strongest members of it." Kimimaro said this with a look in his eyes that indicated he cursed the god who created such a disease. "Really? That's a real pity. Your ancestors are similar to the Tarkatan warriors I've seen in Outworld. They have similar but distinct abilities in using their bones as weapons, and I'm curious how that is possible." Naruto was surprised to learn such information after seeing Kimimaro. "My clansmen have long believed that our bloodline came from a demon with such abilities who succumbed to his lust and mated with a human female. The bloodline gradually changed into what it is now over time. But back then it was said that the Kaguya clan looked less human than we did before our destruction. And I am not the most human-looking Kaguya of them all." Kimimaro said this before feeling Naruto's hand on his chest, where Orochimaru's curse seal had been. "Yes, that makes sense. Still, we can't let such a promising warrior as yourself be squandered on this table like a lab experiment, dying in this way from this disease. It is unworthy of a warrior." Naruto said this with his hand on the albino's chest, which was now glowing red and spreading across the man's upper torso. "What exactly are you doing?" questioned Kimimaro, his voice tinged with fear as his body began to ache internally. "Kaguya Kimimaro, I'm curing your disease. Prepare yourself for a lot of pain," Naruto stated simply as he channeled his power into his hand through Kimimaro's body, chanting words in a language only he understood, and he began purging the disease from the Kaguya. Kimimaro screamed as he felt his body practically melt from the inside and then reform at the same time. Kimimaro would definitely scream. "A lot. I'm not going to him if I have a cold," Jirobo thought as he noticed Kimimaro was now engulfed in red light, blinding the group behind Naruto. "It has been completed. Kaguya Kimimaro, rise. For the first time in a long time, take deep breaths." Seeing the albino sit up and get off the table despite nearly falling to his knees when his feet hit the ground, Naruto said, "I can take a breath. My disease has vanished." Kimimaro could breathe easily without coughing and felt no blood in his lungs. He said, "Yes, I healed you. It's a little crude, but it gets the job done," Naruto stated simply as he watched Kimimaro examine the new mark on his chest, which was the dragon symbol tattooed there. "What is your score?" Kimimaro commented on Naruto's shrug. "More or less," Naruto said, aware that the dragon symbol had long been associated with Mortal Kombat. But the future emperor recognized it as his own and was giving him ideas for the future. "I will proudly wear it while in your service, Naruto-sama," Kimimaro said as he kneeled at Naruto's feet. "Kimimaro, get up. As one of my generals, you will join the rest of my growing army. I have high expectations for you. Failure is not something I take lightly." Naruto nodded in understanding as he saw the Kaguya in front of him. "I understand, Naruto-sama," Kimimaro said, his voice full of understanding. "Good. Please follow me. Every single one of you. We have more potential recruits to free the snake from its prisons." Naruto walked down the hall to another room, where a large corked bottle held what appeared to be ordinary water. Picking up the container, Naruto looked at it for a second before slamming it on the ground, knowing what was inside. After a few moments, the water began to form into a human body, revealing a light blue-haired man with shark-like teeth like Zabuza, or Kasama depending on who you think of first. This new person looked around to see the sound for Kimimaro, and the most muscled he had ever fucking seen standing barely. "What the hell happened? What is your name?" questioned the man while Naruto smiled at him. "Your new boss," Naruto said simply, with the new guy looking stunned at the news. What happened to Orochimaru? And why are you four wearing leaf headbands?" said the man, perplexed. "He's dead. Suigetsu," Naruto said, the man now known as Suigetsu looking as if the world had just tilted off its axis. "How the hell did you get my name?" Suigetsu was questioned, with the sound 4 sucking in their breaths and Kimimaro looking to stab him for some reason. Show Naruto-sama some respect, or I'll rip your guts out. Kimimaro yelled angrily as Naruto raised his hand to stop the impending fight. It's fine, Kimimaro. He's perplexed as to how I know his name when none of you have given it to me, Naruto replied as if it were the simplest answer in the world. You could say that, Suigetsu said carefully, wondering what had changed Kimimaro from a devoted fan of Orochimaru to this kid in front of him. I recognize your name because Orochimaru recognized it. I killed Orochimaru by absorbing his soul and digesting it as if I were the Shinigami himself. All of his memories of what he's done, as well as his knowledge and skills, are all in my head. Suigetsu, I know everything there is to know about you, said Naruto calmly, while Suigetsu was taken aback by the manner in which the Sannin died. Okay, you set me free. What happens next? Suigetsu wondered what was going to happen next. Now you join me in my plans for this world, Naruto stated matter-of-factly. And why on earth would I join you? One insane lunatic with grandiose delusions for another is not my cup of tea. I have my own goals in life, and I'm not going to waste them following some warlord Wantobe just because he got me out of that glass prison with Naruto in front of him. Suigetsu narrowed his eyes before grabbing the shocked man by the throat and lifting him off the ground. Suigetsu-san, I recommend that you choose your words more carefully, because they could be your last. I am well aware of your desire to possess the swords of the 7 swordsmen of the mist. I have no intention of stifling your ambition. What I intend to do is conquer lands and fight anyone who stands in my way. I require generals to lead my armies around the world and unite them under my banner. As per my authority, I understand your desire to shed blood, and my war will provide you with plenty of it. Before dropping Suigetsu to the ground, Naruto explained, You're not playing games with me. You're not kidding me. Suigetsu noticed Naruto's smoldering eyes and spoke up. Hardly. Suigetsu, get your feet wet. I have 2 more potential recruits from this location. Naruto said this before turning around and leaving the room, his army following him. The group soon went to another cell with seal tags on it to keep whoever was in this room locked up tight with no hope of escape unless someone from the outside opened it. Naruto destroyed the cell door with a swing of his newly summoned Wrath Hammer and walked in like he owned the place. Inside the room was a tall man with orange hair sitting on the ground and looking up at his newest guest. What is your name? Said the man with orange hair. Your new boss. I understand your concern. Be afraid of your power. Serve me loyally, and I will ensure that it is under control, Naruto said as the man shook his head. Nobody has any control over it. I'm powerless to stop it. What could you possibly have that allows me to control what I have? Questioned the man while Naruto smiled at him. Kimimaro, for example. I'm confident he can assist you in managing your condition. I can also provide you with access to the world's best medical mind. Nothing will help you if she can't fix or stabilize you, Naruto responded, with the tall man now rising from the ground and looking at Kimimaro, who nodded that what was being told was true. Jugo is my name. My master, I am yours to command. Jugo said this before bowing in front of Naruto. Good. Hello and welcome to your future emperor's army. Naruto said this before placing a hand on the man's shoulder and motioning for the group to follow him once more. This time they went to another lab area instead of a cell, though it appeared that there were seals on the door to keep whoever was in the lab from escaping. Once again, Naruto smashed down the door, making the person in the lab, a young girl with red hair and glasses, shriek in fear at the sudden intrusion into her prison. What is your name? As she saw this person she had never seen before enter the room and practically tower over her terrified form, the frightened redhead asked. Someone in need of your sensory abilities and recent interest in the medical arts, Naruto replied, the bespectacled girl still shaking in fear of him. Forced interests, the redhead girl explained. However, it is an interest you have excelled at since being here in such a short time, and I can make such a skill reach its full potential with the teacher I have in mind for you to learn from, Naruto stated, as the girl looked at him with more curiosity than fear. Who? Questioned the young lady. Tsunade sends you, dear godmother, Naruto responded, the girl's eye bugging out to the point where she nearly lost her glasses. What? Is Senju Tsunade your GG godmother? Tsunade being the godmother to this guy being unbelievable, I asked the girl. He was enormous, muscled with muscles in ways she couldn't comprehend. What did the Senju lady feed him? Was she even curious? And the strength? It was all over the place, from what she could tell, and seemed to come from an endless well. Yeah, she's also the new Hokage of Konoha, so I have a lot of pull. If there's one thing my godmother knows, it's seeing who has talent in her field, and judging from all of Orochimaru's memories. You have it, Naruto said, with the girl looking surprised at how he had Orochimaru's memories. Are you Orochimaru? Asked the girl, as Naruto laughed at her. Hardly. I am no more Orochimaru than Tayuya, Naruto replied, as Tayuya's face turned red with rage and the others snickered. Shut the fuck up before I kick and punch you all in the balls, yelled Tayuya, shaking her fists at them, her team looking away, and whistled indifferently. Then how exactly? Inquired the girl, oblivious to the fact that he was not about to explain things to her just yet. They can tell you if they want. It's not important. What's important to me is knowing if you want to join side. I'll need highly skilled medic nins when I launch my campaign to conquer the elemental countries, and with your sensory skills, you'll be a key addition to my forces, young Karin-chan, Naruto explained, with the girl now named Karin looking at him in surprise at being called her name when she didn't give it. Are you serious? You're going to conquer all of the elemental countries. It's just not possible. You have shinobi villages and daimyos from each country opposing you, said Karin, causing Naruto to laugh. I know, which is why I'm gathering my forces now, while no one suspects my actions or can prepare to oppose me, Naruto said, looking skeptically at Karin. Even if you succeed at first, the opposition will eventually rally to oppose you, explained Karin, who Naruto found amusing. You underestimate me, Naruto said simply, as Karin looked more perplexed than ever. You don't actually believe you can succeed in such a massive campaign against the world, do you? Karin asked, as Naruto grinned even more and leaned down to look her dead in the eyes. I have the blood of an Uzumaki, the blood of an emperor, and the blood of a conqueror in my veins. I will succeed in my plans and kill anyone who stands in my way, replied Naruto, seeing Karin's eyes widen in fear at first before realizing that he was giving her the chance to be by his side instead of his path when the time came to begin his conquest. So, where do I sign up? Karin asked nervously, letting out a nervous laugh at being so close to Naruto and his power, which had already overwhelmed her senses. Wisdom, Naruto said as he motioned for her to follow him, and the group left with him to gather all the sound shinobi throughout the village. What's going on? Inquired a Jounin rank sound shinobi. Hear me, shinobi of Sound Village. I am Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, the son of the late Yondaime Hokage of Konoha. I come here today to declare myself your new leader. If you have not already heard the rumors of how Orochimaru died or who killed him, then let me fill you in right now on all the facts. It was I who killed Orochimaru of the Sannin, and the rumor regarding his very soul. Just because you killed Orochimaru doesn't give you the right to replace him. You're just a kid, exclaimed one sound chunin, to which others agreed. I see some of you don't believe me. I understand. So, to demonstrate that I am truly merciful, each of those wishing to fight me for the right to rule over Sound may step forward and challenge that right, Naruto said, as some of the Sound shinobi leapt from the large crowd and planned to take him out there on the spot. The group behind Naruto, who were debating whether they should still be known as the Sound 4, Sound 5, or some other title, waited with bated breath to see their leader's foes try to hit him. Naruto, on the other hand, was too quick, too strong, and too damn ruthless to stop when he crushed each of them beneath his feet. When it was over, the shinobi who had witnessed his brutality in battle understood why Orochimaru had lost to the Yondaime's son and did not question the young man's right to lead them. I have a question, Naruto-sama, Kimimaro said as Naruto turned to face him. Yes, what is it, Kimimaro? Naruto inquired, the albino looking hesitant for a moment. It's clear you're part of Konoha right now. You can't be in two places at once to command us. How do you intend to do that without Konoha knowing? Said Kimimaro, knowing the Leaf would never allow one of its own shinobi to lead another village, no matter how big or small. Simple. I'm going to appoint you to lead them in my place, Kimimaro. You will be the temporary leader of Sound while awaiting orders from myself with my seal, Naruto said, leaving Kimimaro speechless. I am honored, Naruto-sama, Kimimaro said humbly before kneeling in front of Naruto. I leave things in your capable hands here in Rice Country while I return to Konoha to strengthen my own power base there. While most of the people hate me, I am fortunate that they are either weak civilians or arrogant shinobi who believe I am weaker than them. Once I show my generation the horror that Konoha brought down upon me for what I held, they will question the older generation, and I can use that to bring them around to my side when the time comes, said Na. That's exactly what he desired. They would be his key subordinates, commanding his followers' usual grunts and assisting him in his plans to rule the world under his banner. He would become emperor, unite the factions, and usher in long-term peace. It was possible, and Naruto only needed to set things in motion to make it happen. Sound Village and Rice Country would be critical stepping stones to the world he envisioned. Sarutobi Hiruzen sat in his hospital bed, his body aching from his age, and wondered how things could have gone so wrong in such a short time. Years of planning, plotting, and preparations for the day when he would have Naruto's complete obedience to the village despite their hatred for him. It had been deft manipulations, worthy of his title as Kami of Shinobi, and proof that his mind was as sharp as ever. When Naruto could no longer be a Jinchuriki and would donate Kyuubi to his child or one of his children if he had more than one, a how-to guide on controlling Jinchuriki would be handed down from one Hokage to the next. It had now been ruined by whatever forces outside of Konoha had conspired to usurp his plans for the village's future, and he cursed anyone who had a hand in it. Worse, Orochimaru had failed to kill him in their fight from the start due to Jiraiya informing him of it during the month leading up to the Chunin exam finals. All the Sandaime Hokage had to do was fight Orochimaru, cripple his former student, and die to become a Konoha hero for all time. A great man who could do no wrong and loved despite whatever sins he had committed in the past. He'd be relieved to know that, in the end, their beloved Sandaime Hokage died for Konoha, wiping away any debt owed to the damn Kyuubi Jinchuriki. It was ideal, until that damn boy ruined it. All of Hiruzen's previous actions involving Naruto were now being revealed. His students were dissatisfied with him, and the younger generation was questioning how the village was run. Stupid children. They all had the audacity to question his actions, knowing they were for the greater good. Stupid children. My students dare to question me about Naruto's actions. Bah, they are overly sentimental. If they truly comprehended, they would support my decision and prevent Naruto from becoming too powerful to control. Hiruzen thought, as he couldn't stop thinking about what had happened and how he could fix it despite no longer being Hokage. Look at you. Even now, the cogs in your mind are turning to figure out how to save yourself from being metaphorically dragged through the mud, as you so rightfully deserve, Naruto said, as he entered the room and noticed the former Hokage staring at him. Foolish child, you will never understand what it takes to be Hokage, to make the difficult choices in life, to make sacrifices that hurt those you care about, snarled Hiruzen, Naruto scowling. What is there to understand? You sacrificed me to the mob. You bowed to the whims of one pathetic elder god because he feared me because of my heritage and the prophecy that would topple Earthrealm. You sacrificed me without even considering that the action itself was wrong, that you were wrong in going along with it. You won't admit it even now, Naruto shot back, Hiruzen looking away. I have no regrets, I did what I had to do, Hiruzen said, scowling even more. And if the elder god asked you to sacrifice your grandson, would you? Said Naruto, looking Hiruzen in the eyes. If it's for the good of Konoha, for the world. Yes, Hiruzen said, and Naruto laughed. Now I see where Orochimaru gets his cruelty from. It's true what they say about evil. It's not born, taught, it said Naruto as he suddenly grabbed the man's face and the old former Kage struggled to free himself. HSMSKHFDJKFJLE, exclaimed Hiruzen, looking Naruto in the eyes. Yes, Hiruzen, pray to the elder god Raiden to save you. Pray to that toothless worm. You can do nothing. Your remembrance will be stained with lies and betrayal of your own making. A hypocrite to be remembered for all time long after the world you know comes to an end. Naruto said before looking to his right, and the Hiruzen followed his line of sight to see the one person the old Kage didn't expect to see. His grandchild, HSKHSKM, exclaimed Hiruzen, hoping the boy would run and call for help. But all the boy did was stare. He heard everything, old man. Your grandson came to me, asking questions about who I was, why I tried to kill you during the failed invasion, why I was suddenly hating the very village I was supposed to defend. When I told him my reasons, he thought I'd gone insane, and didn't believe his sweet old grandfather had a hand in things. So I convinced him to hear all the proof he'd ever need come from your own mouth. No, Konohamaru doesn't listen to him. He's bitter for what the village has done to him over the years, exclaimed Hiruzen from beyond Naruto's grasp, but the little boy simply ran away, with a look that indicated to the old former Hokage that his grandson no longer trusted him. Do you see things clearly now, old man? My venom spreads. Your time has passed, now is the dawn of my rule, said Naruto as he drew the old man's soul into his body and was flooded with information the once proclaimed Kami of Shinobi possessed. Naruto now had direct command over the man's memories, knowledge, skills, and every jutsu in his arsenal. Naruto exited the room with an amused chuckle as the sound of the old cage's life signs changed from a steady beeping to the deafening sound of flatlining that indicated when someone's life had ended. It wouldn't matter if Tsunade, a doctor, or a nurse attempted to resuscitate the old man right now. There was no life to save once the soul was removed from the body, and Naruto couldn't care less. This action provided the future emperor and ruler of Earthrealm with what he desired. Now to show those who are gradually siding with him where his enemies' bodies and skeletons were buried in their closets. "Do you know why I'm here?" inquired the figure in front of the man many a name referred to as Pain and their village god. "No, tell me," Pain said as Conan stood beside him, ready to defend him against this uninvited visitor. "The threat of Uzumaki Naruto conquering Earthrealm is upon us, and you, along with a handful of people, are capable of fighting against him and winning," Raiden said after emerging from the shadows to look at the man who used his puppets to bring out Pain, and the physically drained red-haired man looking at him while Conan stiffened at this news. "Uzumaki Naruto, the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, a threat?" Pain asked, surprised. "Yes, Naruto is a threat. The blood of Emperor Shao Kahn of Outworld runs through his veins, just as it does yours." "Uzumaki Nagato," Raiden said, both Nagato and Conan stiffening at hearing the elder god address Pain by his true name. "And you want me to kill my own family?" Nagato asked, seeing Raiden nod. "Yes, Naruto will destroy the world, as stated in the prophecy that has long foretold of his coming. And you must stop him, if you do. I will ask my fellow elder gods to allow Yahiko to return to the land of the living," Raiden said, seeing Nagato and Conan's shock. "Why not do it yourself? Why ask us to do it for you?" Conan asked as Raiden looked at her. "Because the elder gods' rules forbid me from doing anything unless Naruto violates the rules himself. I cannot engage him until such a rule is broken, and when that happens, he may become too strong to stop. It nearly happened with Shao Kahn ages ago during the era of Mortal Kombat, and the Emperor himself brought Earthrealm to its knees. Naruto has followed the path of Shao Kahn the Conqueror, and intends all of my clan," Nagato said after a brief pause. "What?" Raiden inquired. "You heard me, Elder God. If I do this, if I kill Uzumaki Naruto, I want all of the Uzumaki clan in Whirlpool brought back to the land of the living, as well as Yahiko, while Whirlpool country is restored to its former glory," Nagato said, Raiden narrowing his eyes at him. "Your price is high, but the alternative if Naruto succeeds in his conquest far outweighs what you're asking. And I'll grant it if you kill him," Raiden said before disappearing in a flash of lightning. "Would you really do that? Kill one of the few remaining Uzumaki in the world besides yourself?" Conan asked, noticing Nagato's uncertainty. "I don't know. Possibly. Maybe. I don't know. I can't and won't know until I'm faced with the choice in front of me in the future. Send for Itachi and Kisame. They were recently sent to retrieve the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. I want to know everything that has happened since their encounter with him." "Everything," Nagato said as his mind wrestled with so many what-ifs about killing his distant cousin. Could he pull it off? Will he go through with it? Time would only tell. Naruto had walked back into Konoha with relative ease with his group behind him a few months before and was actually glad his trip to Sound had produced unexpected fruit. So many potential recruits in one visit, with one of them in Sound to keep things running smoothly until it was time to liberate Rice Country from its weak daimyo. The timing wouldn't be ideal for a while, but it wouldn't be difficult because Kimimaro would ensure his access to the country was unhindered, and the samurai guarding the Rice daimyo would be small because the feudal lord didn't have the means to fund a large one like the other major countries did. Speaking of countries, his conversation with Karin on the way back to the Leaf revealed that the bespectacled redhead was an Uzumaki like himself, and all Uzumakis came from Whirlpool Country. Members of the Uzumaki clan were all extremely powerful, with long lifespans and mastery of the sealing arts, with some even possessing the ability to suppress the powers of a Biju. After Whirlpool was destroyed by the combined strength of several shinobi villages' armies during the Second Shinobi War, the Uzumaki clan members who didn't perish there dispersed throughout the world, and Karin's parents arrived in Grass Village under a different name to protect them from other shinobi villages seeking to wipe out their bloodline. Karin's parents apparently tried to contact Kushina after learning of her presence in Konoha, but never received a response, and wondered if the woman was doing so to protect them or if someone was preventing her from communicating with them. In any case, it was nice to know there was now someone else with Uzumaki blood running through their veins besides himself, and he told Karin he was an Uzumaki on his mother's side as well. The girl was obviously shocked, and the faint that followed only added to her shock. Though she wasn't the only one surprised to learn that more Uzumaki were alive. Tsunade, who was part Uzumaki, was overjoyed to learn that a distant relative on her grandmother's side of the family was alive and well despite everything. So you're in Uzumaki as well. That's fantastic, exclaimed Tsunade as she heard Karin tell her about Naruto's little invasion of sound and the new management that was taking place there under Kimimaro. Tsunade didn't mind Naruto's plans to conquer the elemental countries because she knew it had nothing to do with Konoha, and that the village would eventually fall under his rule as well. Naruto could be elsewhere and put other plans in motion by putting someone else in charge of the Sound Village after Kabuto was killed. The entire world was in disarray. Tsunade had witnessed a growing tension between countries, a breakdown of order, and no one caring in her travels over the previous decade. The corrupt feudal lords used their wealth, titles, and power to bully the extremely poor they bled dry. Naruto's goal was to rid the world of such people by making them bleed for a change, and to restore true order to the world under his rule. Tsunade wasn't sure why she was supporting her godson's actions in launching a violent campaign to take over the elemental countries, but she would do it for him and believe Naruto would be a great emperor. She's also got the skills to be a great medic nin. I know you've been looking to expand the number of medic nins and wanted her to become one of your newest apprentices, Naruto said, while Karin blushed at his compliment and looked at Tsunade, who appeared to be very interested in the idea. You said one of your newest, so I'm assuming you have someone else in mind, Tsunade asked, Naruto grinning. Hyuga Hinata would be a nice addition to the ranks as well. I know from experience the girl's got the gift for healing others, Naruto replied, referring to the girl's creation of an instant healing cream. Really? That's interesting. I'll look into it, Tsunade said, pleased to hear that she had potential students waiting for her to teach. Good to hear. Also, Jugo here needs your help to keep his power under control and his insanity at bay. Kimimaro can do that when he's around, but I need something on a more permanent basis in the event that's not possible. I told him you could possibly help in that regard, or at the very least try to make the attempt since it's never been done before with his previous physician. Though given who that was, I doubt he would have tried, Naru. Alright, I'll help him out tomorrow. For now, you should rest, train, or do whatever you do, Tsunade said as she waved them off, knowing Naruto had other things on his mind. Naruto had been preoccupied with his preparations for the various plans that had been running through his mind, as well as where to go next. The mist was currently in a state of chaos, with the rebellion fighting the Mizukage for his cruel actions against those with bloodlines. According to Orochimaru, there was a growing conflict in Snow Country with the tyrant, and a secret rebellion was forming to overthrow a man named Kazakana Dodo. Naruto had known from the start that the late Sannin had turned one of the rooms in the Namikaze estates into a sort of war room to plan each new offensive campaign and which new places to attack next. I intend to go to Water Country in the next 2 months to help the rebellion defeat the Mizukage, Naruto stated as each of his 4 bodyguards stood over the map the Namikaze had placed on the table. Orochimaru was always wary of the Mizukage because he was rumored to be a Jinchuriki of the Three Tails while being a strong shinobi without the Biju backing him up, Sakin explained, with Yukin nodding in agreement, as he should have been Sakin. However, I will not allow this useless war in that part of the world to continue. With the rebellion becoming the victor, I can receive the loyalty of every battle-hardened warrior in the country, and make myself known as a hero to many others, explained Naruto before looking over at Snow Country because that was not going to be as easy to take since the rightful ruler was rumored to be alive, but in hiding from her uncle, and... Are you sure we should be doing this? Giving such a weak girl to the Namikaze? Inquired one Hyuga elder as he sat among the others in a secret room, a secret meeting, and the usual secret stuff they do behind Hayashi's back. It can't be Hanabi because she's too young. Besides, we need a strong heiress to run the clan after Hayashi dies, and Hanabi can be influenced to see our ways the right way. Her weak older sister would try to push for reform within the clan, gaining the support of the branch family, and risking overthrowing us through them. I won't allow such an act of heresy to be spoken or achieved in this clan while I'm alive. Those who ruled over the Hyuga clan were all members of the main family, and those who lived to serve them until the end of time were members of the branch family. The strong ruled over the weak, and in this case, they used the cage bird seal to keep the weak from having grandiose plans to revolt against the strong. But what if the Namikaze regards our marriage proposal with such a weak Hyuga as an insult? The boy respects only the strong, expressed another Hyuga elder with concern. We don't have any other Hyuga the Namikaze can marry his age, exclaimed the second Hyuga elder angrily. I'm just being cautious. If Hayashi finds out about this before it's finalized, he'll have us all killed and put others in our position to shift the balance of power in his favor, the third Hyuga elder explained. He's right. Hayashi will not let us manipulate things within the clan like we have in the past if it involves either of his daughters. It must be done soon or we risk more than just the Hyuga clan's political power. The first Hyuga elder expressed concern. Agreed. We need to make this official right away. Have a branch member deliver this scroll to the Namikaze brat and tell him it would be in his best interest to accept, said one Hyuga elder to his kin before summoning one of his servants and commanding the Hyuga to do what was commanded of him. What? I'm going to be put into an arranged marriage. Who the hell with? Screamed Hana angrily at her mother, who was unimpressed by the outburst, despite the fact that she understood why. Because I said so. Because the Namikaze clan's heir has returned. Because the one with that title has the power to kick the $$ out of everyone in the village if we provoke him. How about the one where Senju Tsunade, the new Gondame Hokage, is his godmother, and I for one want our clan to be on her good side knowing her godson is going to be taken care of by one of our own. Tsum stated. That doesn't answer the question of who I'm marrying. I've been away from the village on a 2-week mission. And it still doesn't answer my question. Hana growled at her mother. Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto Yubaka, exclaimed Tsum, her patience with her daughter running thin. But, younger he's than me. He's 12 for Kami's sake, exclaimed Tsum, scoffing at the whole age thing. Age is nothing. We both saw that kid fight in the Chunin exam finals and that was not a 12-year-old boy's body. That boy is going to be the dominant male in all of Konoha in a few years and excuse me if I want my daughter to get in on the ground floor. You think he's going to be limited to one woman. He's going to rebuild his clan and that means one of those women will be the alpha female of the group, explained Tsum. Why didn't you consult me first before doing this? Hana asked, Tsum now looking guilty. I wanted to tell you sooner, but time is of the essence here, and I'm sure several clans are making moves to secure their own connection to Naruto with their daughters. If I waited until your return to discuss this with you, I risked you losing out on being the clan head wife, and overall alpha female of the pack, said Tsum, her voice solemn. I don't believe you. This is about your insecurity about me not finding an alpha and living a life without a mate. You've been worried about this issue since I hit puberty, exclaimed Hana, with Tsum nodding in agreement. Can you blame me? 3 potential mates and not a single interest in them. Tsum retorted to her daughter. Because those 3 potential mates were all scrawny, weak civilians with no backbone when challenged, Hana exclaimed, seeing Tsum reluctantly nod. Well, Naruto doesn't fit into any of those categories, and you know it, so suck it up and get to know him before passing judgment, Tsum exclaimed, with Hana nodding in agreement. Fine, I'll meet him in person and all that, but don't expect any wedding bells anytime soon, Mom, Hana said, with Tsum nodding to be fair. Naruto sat in a meditative position within the family dojo, his mind working on accessing the late Sandaime Hokage's memories and discovering many interesting things, mostly blackmail of those on the councils, which the Sandaime used to stay in power and persuade them to see things his way and how to condition their new Jinchuriki after Kushina died. Because Jiraiya and Tsunade were so active in the village during the wars that followed, the Sandaime couldn't do that with her. Few people in Konoha were aware that Uzumaki Kushina was Kyubai's previous vessel. When something important is known by a select few and it leaks, chances are one of the few leaked it. The Sandaime had been all too happy inside to have Naruto unprotected in order to properly condition him, and the fact that those who could interfere were currently away from Konoha made things even easier. A lie here, a lie there, and a few choice words later, the Sandaime had essentially obtained exclusive rights to Naruto's childhood to manipulate in any way he pleased. It was ironic that the old man would achieve his goal of obtaining his weapon, but only half of it due to Naruto's loyalty to himself, rather than Konoha as the old monkey desired. As he sifted through the Sandaime's memories, one in particular caught his eye and drew him in. As Naruto dug deeper into the memory, he realized it was a meeting with the Fire Daimyo about something. Here is the scroll, Fire Daimyo-sama, the Sandaime said to the Fire Daimyo while handing the scroll to the feudal lord. I hate to ask this now that I have this in my possession, but why not destroy it? Or use it? What if the brat comes looking for his inheritance? Said the Fire Daimyo. Because if the boy finds out about it, you are the only one with the authority to grant him the inheritance and bind him into servitude to you in exchange. And I have no intention of Naruto getting a shred of what his parents wanted him to have, and will make sure he's too weak to oppose you should he try, echoed the Sandaime Hokage's confident and slightly smug tone. So I should consider this a form of insurance in the event your plans for the brat's condition fail to some extent. Very well, just don't screw this up, Hiruzen. My plan to claim the wealth of the Uzumaki clan through the brat is the only reason I tolerate his current existence. However, the moment I get my hands on the wealth of both clans, I want the kid dead, and his offspring to have the Kyuubi next while the weapon becomes. Think of it as a form of tribute to you and your great country, Fire Daimyo-sama. Proof of my loyalty and those in Konoha who are loyal to you, echoed the Sandame Hokage, as the Fire Daimyo let out an awful laugh that made Naruto want to smash his head in with the wrath hammer right there. And then, it's a shame this was only a memory and not the real thing. But it was inevitable. Oh yes, the future Emperor of Earthrealm would not take some sniveling feudal lord's scorn lightly. Naruto's eyes widened, rage filling his every being at the sudden information revealed by the old Hokage's memories, and the perfect excuse to see the Fire Daimyo to negotiate the man's surrender of the inheritance. It was bad enough that Danzo was using his forces on the side to spread rumors about him and smear his good name so that the Fire Daimyo could use it against him. But what about this? The thought of being forced to serve such a weak little man in exchange for what was rightfully his by blood made Naruto crave blood or something that could quench his thirst for it. Naruto-sama, Shizune called from the door behind him. Yes, Shizune, Naruto replied. I have a message from the Hyuga clan stating that it is urgent. May I come in? Shizune asked, Naruto standing behind the door while she spoke. Come in, Naruto said, as the woman entered the dojo dressed in a combination of servant clothing and that of a feudal lord's concubine, thanks to Anko being the one who chose the woman's new wardrobe. Here is the message, Naruto-sama, exclaimed Shizune as Naruto drew her closer to him, kissing and groping her with a hunger to sate his bloodlust through sexual lust while the scroll slipped from the woman's grasp. The message from the Hyuga clan can wait. I want you, Shizune. Disrobe right now, Naruto exclaimed, his body radiating power and his voice commanding the woman in front of him to obey. Yes, Naruto-sama, Shizune said breathlessly as she easily undressed in front of him, ignoring Anko's insistence that panties only got in Naruto's way while in the house, and was instantly pinned to the ground by her master. Your smell, it's intoxicating. Just like Anko-chan. So beautiful, so strong, so sexy, so enticing, exclaimed Naruto into her ear while undressing and kissing the woman down her neckline and breasts with Shizune moaning in pleasure. Naruto-sama, Shizune exclaimed as she felt Naruto's shaft enter her womanhood, gripping his muscled back tightly as he filled her to the brim. You are mine, Shizune. Just like Anko, every touch, kiss, and thrust I give your body makes you want more from me, Naruto said into Shizune's ear as he began thrusting into her and attacking her breasts with his hands. I am yours. The only man who will ever have me will be you and you alone, exclaimed Shizune as she quickly turned into a mass of jelly after their romps together, and even more so when Anko joined them. When that happened, Shizune always slept late into the morning. Naruto smirked as he caressed the woman on the floor beneath him, feeling pleasure run through her body from his touch, kiss, and the thrust of the erection assaulting her pussy. Her pleas for pleasure grew with each new powerful thrust he unleashed, molesting her breasts, and kissing the sweet spots he knew were sensitive when attacked. He was barricading Shizune's body. Her joyous cries were signals that victory was close at hand. Her screaming his name from the powerful orgasm he instilled in her was the ultimate triumph in conquering her body. Shizune surrendered to Naruto, feeling the warmth of his cum fill her pussy as his shaft released his seed. Naruto rolled just as she was readjusting to reality and recovering from the orgasm, so he was on the bottom and Shizune was on top this time. Shizune dared not disobey as a firm hand smacked her ass to command the former student of Senju Tsunade to begin riding him, and Shizune dared not disobey. As she moved her hips, she placed her hands on his muscled torso and felt Naruto's hands again on her breasts. He was groping, twisting, and molesting each orb of flesh, groaning in delight at her hip movements. Anko has taught you well, Naruto said, enjoying the pleasure Shizune was giving him and needing to thank Anko later for teaching the woman how to please him. She has Naruto-sama. Anko wanted to make sure I could please you when she wasn't even around to do it herself, exclaimed Shizune as she felt him inside her pussy and was about to release his seed once more. I'll have to thank Anko later, Naruto said, enjoying the sight of Shizune bouncing on his cock and her tits bouncing free before him. And coming Naruto-sama. I can feel it, exclaimed Shizune, riding him harder and moaning loudly, her eyes glazed over with lust. Come Shizune. Come now, Naruto yelled as he pushed his way into Shizune's pussy, and the woman did the same as she felt his seed fill her once more, their cries of pleasure echoing throughout the Namikaze estates. Lucky bastard, Kimimaro said as he watched his boss have an affair with Shizune, with the others thinking the same thing. though Teyuya was more irritated than envious. Fucking pervert. If he wasn't the boss, I'd kick his ass and balls until he pissed blood, exclaimed Teyuya, her face matching her hair. That, and the fact that we are guests in his house, Sakin said, smiling at how red Teyuya's face was right now. Shut the fuck up. Teyuya yelled angrily, shaking her fist at him. Make me, Sakin challenged, as Teyuya prepared to fight when killer intent washed over everyone in the room. You will not fight each other in my presence or in my home unless I sanction it. Now is not the time to fight in mortal combat. Now is the time to launch the next stage of my plan, Naruto stated after getting dressed and leaving a shadow clone to help Shizune sleep and rest after their time together. So you're going to miss sooner than expected? Jirobo inquired, his face befuddled. No, I'm going to the Fire Country capital to see the Fire Daimyo himself. I've seen deeper into the memories of the Sandaime Hokage and realized the old man's treachery runs straight to the feudal lord himself. He has my main inheritance left behind by my mother as well as other financial means from my father, Naruto replied. You can surprised. Orochimaru mentioned it once while on a mission, saying that the wealth and deed to the land of Whirlpool could easily buy Fire Country as well as several smaller countries. Add to that the Namikaze clan was rumored to have enough wealth to almost do the same, just makes the holder of such wealth unstoppable. You could fund an entire army of mercenaries for decades or even centuries before a dent is felt on the family wallet, said Sakin with you. Naruto nodded, recalling Orochimaru's recollection of Uzumaki physiology, and how his opportunity to use one of them for a new body was impossible due to the Kyuubi Jinchuriki being the last Uzumaki. When the Sannin had Karin at his base, he probably didn't realize he had an Uzumaki under his roof, or he did and the man was preparing her to be an emergency body. The girl's memories and feelings were hazy and indecisive. Orochimaru wasn't sure if Karin was in Uzumaki or not, but he had a strong suspicion. Do you want us to come along, boss? Kimimaro inquired as Naruto shook his head. No, you stay here and train to become stronger. Anko-chan will assist you because she was once a student of Orochimaru. Suigetsu is out visiting Tenten's weapon shop to either buy or make a sword specifically for himself while Jugo is receiving treatment for his condition. Besides, someone has to keep an eye on them while I'm away, and Karin is going to be pretty busy learning everything about being a medic from the Hokage after being taken on as. But what if you get captured or killed while there? How are we supposed to protect you when you won't let us? Jirobo asked, Teyuya face palming and muttering under her breath, fucking baka for fat ass. You are not yet ready for that task, Jirobo. None of you are, but you will be soon if I have anything to say about it. Orochimaru made you strong, but not strong enough to possibly overthrow him, and thus made sure what you learned was limited. I want you all to be at your best, and I will accept nothing less from any of you, Naruto stated before leaving the four of them stunned. Wow, Teyuya simply exclaimed, remembering how Orochimaru had always warned them not to become stronger than themselves for fear of suffering a painful death. Oh, is Teyuya-chan having feelings for the boss? Kimimaro teased, seeing Teyuya's now red face matching her red hair to the point where they were one and the same. Teyuya yelled, shut the fuck up you fucking shit stain, as Kimimaro and the others laughed. The Fire Daimyo was not a man who worried about things because he always had his samurai protecting him and shinobi in the leaf working in the shadows for different threats his usual guards couldn't handle. With the death of the Sandaime, rumors began to circulate in Konoha about the Uzumaki brat gaining demonic unnatural powers and easily killing Orochimaru of the Sannin after defeating prodigal genin Hyuga Neji in the Chunin exams. It was concerning that this would occur after the Sandaime had assured him that the Uzumaki would not be strong enough to claim what was rightfully his since birth. He's not having it. Everything they had is now mine. Mine, thought the Fire Daimyo, as he refused to let the brat take his wealth and whatever remained of Whirlpool. The only way the Kyuubi Jinchuriki could get anything from him was if the brat kneeled in front of him and swore that everyone in his bloodline would be devoted to Fire Country. Daimyo-sama, Daimyo-sama, exclaimed one of the feudal lord's attendants as he dashed into the man's office, looking as if he had witnessed something truly horrifying. Yes, what is it? Asked the Fire Daimyo, seeing the man look panicked and fearful of something made the feudal lord's hair stand on end. There is someone at the castle walls demanding to see you, Daimyo-sama. He claims to be the son of the Yondaime and Uzumaki Kushina, and he says if you don't grant him an audience he'll make you, said the Fire Daimyo's attendant. And the feudal lord was enraged. How dare that upstart demand anything from me? I hold his legacy in my hands and he demands an audience with me. Have him arrested right now. I want him in the lowest parts of the dungeon and I want him to suffer, exclaimed the Fire Daimyo, hoping that his army of samurai would be able to repel this monstrous demon at his doorstep. With the help on its way out, the fire daimyo waited to hear from one of his men that the monster at his gate had been subdued and was now in agony. It was in his samurai's best interests to obey his command, and they waited for the guards to arrive and inform their feudal lord of their success. What the fire daimyo got was the sound of an explosion and battle cries echoing from his castle's courtyard. Rushing to his window, the feudal lord of Fire Country was astounded and terrified by what he saw. He was shocked to see his army of samurai all fighting one person and terrified to see his army of samurai losing to this one person. Of course, the fire daimyo had to remind himself that this wasn't just any ordinary person, and that he was clearly not human. Fire daimyo, come on out, face me, face judgment for the wrong you did to me and my family, yelled Naruto before swinging his wrath hammer at 3 samurai and sending them flying all the way across the courtyard into a wall. Damn you, brat. He has the audacity to expect anything from me. I am the ruler of this country, and I refuse to submit to him, thought the fire daimyo furiously as he walked to a nearby balcony and watched Naruto crush his army of samurai like they were nothing. Come on out, fire daimyo. If you are truly the great leader of these warriors, as they believe, then face me, and know my wrathful hand for the crimes you helped commit against my family, yelled Naruto as he saw the fire daimyo on his balcony above him, knocking over groups of samurai all over the place without mercy. Naruto even grabbed one of the samurai by his helmeted face and threw him into a line of them, their bodies bowled over like pins. The namikaze then smashed the ground with his wrath hammer, causing it to shake and each samurai to lose his footing. They tried to stop him, but Naruto was far too fast, far too strong, and far too damn powerful for the daimyo's army to overcome. You have a lot of nerve demanding anything from me, brats. I hold your inheritance, your family's various holdings in my hands, and unless you swear your loyalty to me, I will see to it that every document that makes you the legitimate holder to such rightful claims is totally destroyed, exclaimed the fire daimyo from his balcony position. Never, exclaimed Naruto, refusing to bow to such a frail-looking worm of a man. Then consider your family inheritance lost forever, exclaimed the fire daimyo as he entered to destroy what Naruto had come for. Nobody could have the wealth of the Uzumaki and Namikaze clans if he couldn't have them. Your funeral, Naruto simply stated before letting out a demonic chuckle worthy of his forefather and channeling his chakra into his legs before leaping high into the air above the now stunned samurai army while yelling, before slamming it against the castle wall, where the fire daimyo had just been, causing a massive explosion. The fire daimyo was down the hall, on his way to the room where he kept Naruto's inheritance, and was startled to hear the sound so close to him before sprinting to the safe where the scroll was kept. Even now, his samurai were rushing past him, swords drawn, ready to fight the evil that had come after their feudal lord. Stop him, stop that vile monster. As your daimyo, I command you to fight this demon, exclaimed the fire daimyo as he cowered behind his samurai forces in the battle cry. Why risk your life for this worm hiding behind your swords? Your daimyo flees from battle when he should engage me. The man lacks courage. No warrior spirit is required to lead you, yelled Naruto as he smacked the row of samurai in front of him with charging spikes, causing the army to either fly backwards or sideways into the wall. Don't listen to him. I am your feudal lord, and it is your duty to protect me regardless of what he says, yelled the fire daimyo as Naruto sneered at him. Such arrogance. A leader leads by example. He leads his forces into battle when an enemy is on his doorstep. You flee, letting your men be slaughtered. And for what? You are heading for my family inheritance, hoping that having it in your hands, ready to destroy, will make me tremble and suddenly submit to your commands. As if such an act would make me kneel at your feet. I have the blood of an emperor in my veins, and I do not submit to a. The samurai were beginning to feel overwhelmed at this point, and fear gripped their hearts as they witnessed this seemingly unstoppable force rip right through. An unstoppable force attempting to reach the man they swore to serve, even if the man was fleeing like a coward, commanding them to throw away their lives so he could live a few moments longer, with no regard for the cost his men were paying. It wasn't long before Naruto's words hit home, and they exchanged glances about whether they should let this embodiment of power have his prize and be done with their so-called daimyo. I will not let him win. I'm going to make him pay for attempting to hurt me, thought the fire daimyo as he dashed to the room where he discovered the safe and struggled to open it before hearing a click to indicate the safe had been unlocked. When the fire daimyo opened it, he reached for the scroll the sandame had left him, and the feudal lord's mind was filled with the memory of that moment. He noticed the Hokage's face was filled with confidence and sounded so certain of his plan to control the Jinchuriki and Konoha through his manipulations. It was supposed to be faultless. The fire daimyo never imagined Uzumaki Naruto would be anything other than a fool. You have something that belongs to me. Naruto growled as his body glowed in a terrifying blood-red aura that made him a true sight to behold, with the blood of all the samurai he fought washing over him to make it even more terrifying. Stay away, I swear it. This contains everything your father and mother left for you. Without it, you will have nothing, and will be nothing. If you don't back off, I will seize the Namikaze estates before I order it burned to the ground and you will be homeless, exclaimed the fire daimyo in a panic, holding the scroll tightly in his two shaking hands, and seeing the blood-stained warrior marching towards him without fear. You think I'll just submit to you? That I'll beg and plead for it like some mere peasant who serves you here in this castle, said Naruto before snatching the scroll from the shocked and terrified feudal lord in front of him and pocketing it. Don't kill me. It was all the Sandame's idea, stammered the fire daimyo nervously as Naruto glowered at the man now on his knees pleading for mercy. Funny, the old man's memory of the meeting says otherwise, said Naruto before hurling the fire daimyo into a wall, and watching the man fall face first onto the ground after gravity plucked him from the room's indented wall. Stop. Show him mercy, cried the fire daimyo, struggling to look up at the towering giant in front of him and see the burning rage in those eyes. Why should I? Said Naruto triumphantly over the fallen feudal lord. My venom will soon spread over your land and troops. It is the end of all things as you know them. An end of the old guard and its old ruler. Stop, pleaded the fire daimyo, while Naruto simply sighed and celebrated his victory. It's too late to stop now, fool. Your time has passed. Soon, the other feudal lords like you will follow in your footsteps when they begin their foolish resistance to stop me, Naruto explained before picking up the man and slamming him against the wall, pinning him there. You can't, exclaimed the fire daimyo, blood streaming down his cheeks. Oh, but I can. Fire country is mine now. Your home, your samurai who are still alive, and the land where your people live are all mine. An adequate form of payment for keeping what was mine from me, don't you agree? Questioned Naruto as he tossed the fire daimyo to the ground. Kami, elder gods above ... help me. Someone, cried the fire daimyo as he attempted to crawl away from Naruto, who simply laughed and walked around him. Yes, pray to your god. Pray to the elder gods above to save you. Pray to them as your world as you know it ... ends, exclaimed Naruto as the fire daimyo knelt and looked up at him. I'm sorry, please forgive me, the fire daimyo said as Naruto hefted his wrath hammer and swung down on the feudal lord's head with a demonic war cry. The room would require extensive cleaning and remodeling. Naruto entered the throne room of fire daimyo, the dead feudal lord's remaining army of samurai watching him walk to the chair that symbolized the ruler's position over his country, and sat in it without hesitation, like it was always his throne and would always be, no matter what anyone tried to convince him otherwise. Taking a deep breath, Naruto noticed the samurai who were watching him sit on the throne were unsure how to react to this new development. Not surprising given that their daimyo had died. His wife was away on a cruise with no way of knowing what had happened to her husband, and there was no bloodline heir to the throne. The man had a niece, but she was too young and came from his wife's side of the family, so her claim to rule, if there was one, was tenuous at best. Speak your mind, samurai, Naruto said to the samurai who was still alive and stunned by the turn of events. We have nowhere to go now, one samurai admitted, knowing it was true. Yes, that is correct, but what will you do now that your weak daimyo has died? Will you all become Ronin and wander the world? Will you go forth and serve another daimyo in another country? Or, will you serve me? Naruto asked each samurai in front of him. And why should we serve you? The slayer of our daimyo, exclaimed another samurai, and Naruto smirked. Let me tell you something about your daimyo, whom you served with such zeal worthy of the title of samurai. The man you called daimyo was a weak and pathetic little man who conspired with the Sandame Hokage to deny me what was rightfully mine and tried to force me into submission so they could use me as a weapon. They planned to make me their pet to heel and obey their every command without letting me have say in my life. What would happen if we stayed and served you? Asked another samurai, daring to ask the one question many did not dare to ask themselves. You will be well compensated for your services and loyalty to me. Unlike the previous ruler of Fire Country, I will be fighting in battles and fighting many enemies rather than sitting on my ass, exclaimed Naruto, the samurai having witnessed his power firsthand. What do we call you? Inquired another samurai. I am Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, descendant of Emperor Shao Kahn the Conqueror and ruler of Outworld, descendant of the Sage of Six Paths, exclaimed Naruto as he smashed his fist on the chair, nearly breaking the armrest. He'd need a new chair commissioned to handle situations like that soon. We will humbly serve you now, Naruto-sama, said one samurai before kneeling, and everyone else in the room quickly followed suit. Good to hear. I hereby proclaim my right to the throne of Fire Country through my royal bloodline, and as my first official act as your ruler, I annex Whirlpool Country into Fire Country. Make my proclamation official for all to hear. I want the world to know that Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto is not someone to be overlooked. And I want the daimyos of the world to know that their days of ruling this fractured world will soon be over. When word got out about this, Konoha was in for a big surprise. He did what? Exclaimed Danzo, kneeling in front of his root shinobi. The target Uzumaki Naruto has killed the Fire Daimyo, and proclaimed himself the new ruler of Fire Country, as well as retrieving his ancestor Danzo-sama. The root shinobi explained before going into detail about how the samurai army protecting the late feudal lord fell against the former Jinchuriki of Kyuubi before the target killed the daimyo. Damn you, I had gathered enough evidence, both true and fabricated, to declare the brat a traitor to Konoha. I intended to send this to the Fire Daimyo so he could order Tsunade to subdue my future weapon, and then use my Sharingan on the feudal lord to turn the Uzumaki into the village weapon. Thought an enraged Danzo, the elderly man furious at the moment. Danzo, I assume you heard the news, Hamura asked, seeing the root shinobi in front of the war hawk. I take it word has spread throughout the entire country. Danzo inquired, with Hamura and Koharu nodding. The brat used his parents' heritage to claim legitimacy to the throne after killing the previous daimyo, and using the late feudal lord's past actions against him to rally the needed support. The Namikaze has portrayed himself as a man of the people and has even annexed Whirlpool Country given his mother's side of the family came from there, said Hamura while hating the Yondaime Hokage for limiting their power when in office. Even her son was now out of reach. With the annexation of Whirlpool, the brat can further claim legitimacy to the throne because Kushina was of royal blood, and thus grants her son the means to rule over Fire Country, Koharu explained, noting that politics was her strong suit. What about the late daimyo's family? Surely they won't stand for this, or the people in the Fire Daimyo's own court? Hamura asked, as Danzo shook his head. From what I understand, none of the late Fire Daimyo's family have standing to take the throne because he had no heir, or make one known on who would succeed him, and the family would be fighting against each other, bringing about instability to the entire country, Danzo stated, with the root shinobi in front of him nodding once. Surely we can spread rumors. Whisper dissent into the ears of the people to rise up and oppose the brat. Hamura shakes her head, seeing Koharu. And who would take the throne? It would have to be someone of royal blood we could manipulate, and the enemies of Fire Country could use such chaos to wipe us out. Sadly, we need to keep the brat on the throne, and prevent any dissent from happening, Koharu replied, with Hamura sighing and Danzo looking dissatisfied. Tsunade is Hokage, her godson is daimyo. We dare not act against her now because the brat would never tolerate it, Danzo said, with the other two nodding in agreement. We can do nothing until an option to remove the boy from his seat of power presents itself, Hamura said before leaving Danzo to think about it further. Anko whistled in thanks to the castle, which had been rebuilt following her lover's attack on the previous owner. She'd never been permitted to leave Konoha for the Fire Country capital, whether as a bodyguard for the Sandaime or to deliver a message to the Fire Daimyo. Anko suspected it was because of her history with Orochimaru, and the possibility of seducing the daimyo in order to have the man's child and thus have a reason to live in the castle. Personally, I believe the special jounin would not have done what they all feared because, for one, her tastes were centered on action men, and well, the Fire Daimyo was not what was the proper word. Not the rightful heir to his own throne, castle, country, whatever. The point was that the man had bad performance issues, and Anko preferred her man to be the polar opposite. Enjoying the decorum, Anko-chan asked Naruto as Anko sat on his new throne made just for him because the old one was well, it was crappy. Very. I like the throne you're sitting on now, it boosts your sex appeal, Anko said with a sway to her hips, while Shizune blushed to show she agreed. You should see the bedroom, Naruto said as he stepped down from the royal seat and approached the two women. Oh, I imagine it's much different than before, and with a much bigger bed, Anko said, a twinkle in her eye and lust as clear as day in her eyes. Indeed, Naruto replied before kissing Anko hungrily and then going after a slightly surprised Shizune, who quickly returned it. Namikaze-sama, sir, a messenger asked, seeing Naruto kissing the two women. What? Said Naruto, his voice slightly irritated at being interrupted. A message, sir. It's from Konoha, the messenger said, handing Naruto the scroll and bowing humbly before departing. What does it say? Anko inquired, peering over Naruto's shoulder on one side and Shizune on the other. Oh, it's from the Hyuga clan. I actually forgot about them and ignored their first message for Other reasons, Naruto explained, while Shizune blushed because she was the one who ignored the first message. What do they want, Naruto-sama? Shizune inquired as Naruto continued to read. First and foremost, they want to congratulate me on my newfound position in life and wish me the best of luck, Naruto responded with a mix of sarcasm and surprise. In other words, they're kissing your ass and hoping it won't be forgotten, Anko explained, referring to how the Hyuga clan behaved. Very true. Second, it appears they want to arrange an arranged marriage between myself and one of the Hyuga women to further cement my claim to the throne of Fire Country. Apparently, they believe my annexing of Whirlpool is insufficient, and I need someone of noble blood from Fire Country to further strengthen the foundation, Naruto said, reading the scroll with mild interest. Meaning their clan's foundation. So who is the lucky girl they chose for you in this arranged marriage? Anko wondered as she searched for the name of the Hyuga they chose. Hyuga Hinata, Naruto replied, his voice a little more surprised and devoid of sarcasm. Hinata, I'm surprised. They don't think much of her in Konoha, even after Hokage-sama made her an apprentice with Uzumaki Karin, Shizune said, referring to Hinata and Karin's success as prodigal medicnins. Same here. Hinata always had potential, but from what I understand, they felt it was a threat to Hyuga clan, so they decided to stomp it out. At the same time, they could claim she was too weak, and put Hinata in the branch family with the cage bird seal stamped on her forehead, said Naruto, frowning at one of the conditions they demanded upon his acceptance to the marriage. What? They want you to sire 2 children, one of whom will live with the clan and have the cage bird seal stamped on the child's head, Shizune inquired, seeing Naruto's line of vision regarding the terms of the marriage. Hinata is from their clan, this is their contract, and thus they make the rules within it, which is why politics are so troublesome, said Naruto, with Anko growling at the other term. It also states that a tribute be paid to the Hyuga clan every month until the second child is born to compensate them for not producing. Anko exclaimed as she saw this, and Naruto nodded in agreement. Same here. They also want to put the cage bird seal on Hinata to ensure Kumo doesn't get any ideas of nabbing her once she's out of Konoha, and behind these castle walls. Like her only purpose to me would be to stay in her room and produce strong babies for them that they could manipulate or control. Disgusting, said Naruto, with the women beside him nodding in agreement. I agree. Giving you a whole army of children is our job, right Shizune? Anko joked, although she did want to have children with Naruto one day. Shizune simply blushed profusely. What will you do? Will you accept the contract, even with the terms? Shizune asked, knowing they were steep and asking a lot from Naruto, and even more from Hinata herself based on what she saw of the contract's terms. No, Hinata should be able to choose the man she wants to marry and be happy with in life, and this contract isn't valid, Naruto replied, Shizune and Anko looking at him with puzzled expressions. What do you mean? The Hyuga clan seal is on this contract, Anko said, looking at it again. It's on here, but notice the signatures on this are of Hyuga clan elders, not the Hyuga clan head himself. The only way this contract would be valid is if the Hyuga clan head signs off on this with the seal to make it official. Something I learned from the memories of the Sandaime Hokage in regards to clan affairs and the tricky ways a clan like the Hyugas do things, Naruto replied, unsure what to do with this. So they're doing this behind Hayashi's back, huh? I'm willing to bet they don't suspect you even know about the contract itself and will sign off on it. They get what they want with the Hyuga with your blood under their seal before you could possibly realize this is invalid, and if you try to take your offspring from them if that happens. Anko said, the words hanging in the air. They would use the seal's abilities on the child and kill him or her, Naruto growled, narrowing his eyes and picturing the Hyugas laughing at him for signing something like this. They were the ones who were stupid now. What's the plan, Naruto-kun? Are you going to spill some Hyuga blood? Can I help? Anko inquired, her voice tinged with eagerness, while Naruto chuckled. Not quite. I'll arrange a meeting with the Hyuga elders in their clan compound. What they won't know is Hayashi will appear just as the meeting is about to begin. I'll inform him of my reason for being there, show him the scroll, and let the dogs fight it out, Naruto said, a sadistic grin forming on his face. I love it, exclaimed Anko, knowing it would cause havoc in the snooty noble home of the Hyuga clan. I knew you would. After I get things squared away there, I'll make my way to Mist and help the rebellion take down the Mizukage as well as the Water Daimyo. It's clear the man is unfit to rule his own country if he can't keep his shinobi village in check. But enough about business. Let's focus on the more pleasant aspects of my life with the two of you now here, Naruto replied with a grin while, after all, they did want to see the bedroom. In any case, Anko did.
So this was it for today. I will continue the story in next part. Till then, we weeb offline.